Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Gone are the days of wrestling with our favorite LJN wrestling figures, trying to convince them to stand up. What's a guy to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get on Etsy and look up 4 Left 3D Creations and get yourself these amazing custom LJN figure stands. There is a custom stand available for every single one of your LJN wrestling superstar figures. Make your display shine by grabbing these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations today.
Hello everybody, Jason W. News Revolution. Down here in the cave, I still have a fruit roll-up left over from the last, from the show I did. Interesting. I'm gonna have to eat that tonight. It's Halloween. It is Halloween. It is October, actually. So the kickoff to October, kickoff to Halloween month is here. So I figured, do something very original on YouTube and do like a horror themed month. I don't think that's been done before. I don't think. So I'll do that. And I'll likely just watch some movies. But we got a show on here called Hey, You Want to Play Some Nintendo? With a pretty awful gamer. And I will play horror themed NES games in October. We will play Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, probably Fester's Quest. I mean, whatever I got, I'll have to go through the list and pick out some horror games. I have Castlevania, but the darn thing doesn't work. It just doesn't load in. I think I have Castlevania 2. I'm not sure. But we'll play some horror games. We'll watch some movies. We'll review some movies. I'll show you my, the NECA Friday the 13th collection. I don't know what we'll do. We'll do horror stuff. And hopefully it culminates with a trip to the Frightmare in the Falls, the horror convention at the end of the month. Hopefully it wraps up with that. Last night I watched the first of maybe 20 horror movies for this month. I watched a movie called Chernobyl Diaries. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. 2012 Chernobyl Diaries. Now, there's a lot of things about this movie that interest me. Abandoned stuff interests me. And what is more abandoned than an entire city? Chernobyl and a city called Pripyat. The neighboring city to Chernobyl was also abandoned, vacated back with the Chernobyl nuclear accident. And the town has been, abandoned since. And they actually did film in Pripyat. So the story here is Chernobyl conspiracy viral video. Is a special feature. I digress. The story is 3 people, a fella, his girlfriend, and then just a random female friend. They're touring the globe, right? They're doing the world tour thing. They're in France. They're all over the country. They're in different parts and doing the backpack thing. Doing the tour, and it's going to culminate in Kiev, Soviet Union. They're gonna go see the fella's brother who moved to Kiev for unknown reasons, but they're gonna visit him at the end of this, backpacking tour or whatever, and that's pretty much how it's gonna end, right? But the brother says, "I've got something better than that. I've planned this tour to Pripyat, to the Chernobyl area. They give tours. We've got a tour guide. I paid for it. We're going to take all 4 of us on this awesome tour. We're going to see this abandoned village and what could go wrong. This abandoned city, not village. It could be a village. I don't know. So they do. They hop on they've got a Russian, tour guide, big military dude. and he's got this camouflaged van, and he's going to drive them to this abandoned city, and they're going to walk around for the day, for the night, and then they're going to head home, and all will be fine because the radiation levels are low enough to where you can be there for a certain amount of time, and then you got to go home. So they get to the checkpoint. They get to the gates of the abandoned city, and a couple of military guys say, "Not today, not today. You can't go in. They're doing some maintenance. Sorry, can't go in." Well, everybody's upset. Come on, we paid you. This is terrible. And Yuri, the Russian tour guide, says, "There's more than one way to get in to Pripyat." So he takes them back around the woods or whatever, and they're in. They're in past the guards, and they're in. And so it's innocent, and they're walking around, and they really are there, which I thought was awesome, that they actually filmed in this abandoned city. And you can go online, you can watch tons of videos about Pripyat and what it's just spooky. It's, they got up and left in 1986 or so. Well, you think they got up and left is the whole point of the movie. And this is almost like a Hills Have Eyes sort of thing, a Wrong Turn kind of movie. And I love those. I like the, I don't want to, what are we going to call them? Kind of like the mutated humans that live in the hills, live in the caves and just come out and eat people. I kind of like those movies. I like them. And, some strange things start happening, and people start disappearing. Yuri, he might not be at the end of the movie. Unfortunately, he might be, of course, he's got to be the first to go, right? He's the tour guide with the gun. The experienced military guy has got to die first. And then you have, the survivors, and they're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And, slowly throughout the movie, you figure out Pripyat is not as abandoned as we are to believe. And what could possibly be left behind this highly radioactive city? Well, highly radioactive beings, of course, are left behind in Pripyat. So it's got a neat little twist ending. I won't spoil it for anybody. I did spoil Yuri's death. I'm sorry. I won't spoil the ending. But it's not a feel good movie. It's not a feel good happy ending. Don't expect a glorious. But I would recommend it. So again, I like Chernobyl. I like the concept of Chernobyl. Well, aside from the disaster and multiple deaths, I like the concept of Chernobyl. I like the concept of abandoned places. I love abandoned stuff. Urban exploring is kind of a big thing. I love, checking out people's videos where they go into abandoned places. And I like the mutated human deal. So I give again, how I judge horror. Okay? You know how I judge horror. Are there jump scares? Is it creepy? Is it scary? Yeah. That's how I judge horror. So this meets all of that criteria for sure. So if you can get your hands on Chernobyl Diaries, I say check it out indeed as you enjoy this glorious month of October. The next movie that I'm going to watch is Ju-on 2. So Ju-on The Grudge is one of my favorites, and I haven't seen part 2 in forever. In fact, it's on bootleg DVD from the days of burning Netflix DVDs. So I'm going to watch bootleg DVD of Ju-on 2. Thank you, Netflix. That'll be tonight. And if I can watch back-to-back movies in back-to-back nights, that'll be very rare for me. Usually it takes me 4 days to watch a movie. But we'll do the movie reviews, like I said. We'll do the horror-themed NES playthroughs. Watch me play and lose. And we'll look at some of the horror collections that I have that you guys have seen before. That's what we'll do. Yeah, okay. That is all. Chernobyl Diaries. It gets a thumbs up from me. Did its job. That is all. Happy Halloween. Good night now.